My wife told me I had to stop imitating a flamingo. So, I had to put my foot down. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. Today we're going to talk about the 3v3 offense teams and defense teams. I'm releasing the video for defense teams at the same time, so go check that out. There's a link in the video description and everything. And we're just trying to figure out how to survive in this meta, because this meta is a pretty crazy one. It really is, guys. So, whoa. That is the wrong thing. You guys got to see Nest standing there. That was uncalled for, unnecessary. What is necessary is me thanking my patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you so much, guys. And guys, just a reminder, if you want to support this channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that like button, subscribe, do a comment, do something crazy. I told everyone to yodel, and I feel like some people got arrested for that. So maybe don't do the yodeling. At least if you're doing it, maybe make sure you wear clothes at this time. Usually. Just do it usually. You probably won't get caught. So just, yeah, with the yodeling, wearing clothes, it's wise. Anyways, let's go to the actual game discussion. This is a pretty crazy one, guys. Oh, I do want to mention, by the way, before we jump in, there's going to be another video tomorrow. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do it for my 9 million account with only 3 Galactic Legends, or with my smaller account that's at 4.7 million GP, just to show you guys some other team comps that maybe you don't find on this one. Maybe it's more approachable because my main account that I'm going to be showing you guys has all the toys, and so I'll be showing you guys what the best teams are. Hopefully it gets the juices flowing and you guys understand that this is just a, hey, like, here's something to build for as well, but some people want more approachable stuff that they can actually use more, and I'm like, I don't know, my alts are pretty weird too. So let's jump in. So first, whoa, we're in the game. This is madness. First thing I need to do, guys, is show you. I know that people don't love datacrons. We got to talk about datacrons a little bit though, because this is a game changer. This is enormously important. So look at the bottom stat thing. And it says 15% max health to max protection for each other dark side ally. Right now, it's currently broken in a couple different ways. First off, it says other dark side ally, implying that you only get in 3v3 30% max health and max protection. That's false. We're getting 45. We get 15% for each character, and the dark side ally thing doesn't matter. It's just, you can just scratch off dark side ally, or dark side, and just have ally. You can scratch off other dark side, in fact. So that's how it's working right now. Maybe CG will fix it, maybe not, but that's something we need to keep in mind. This is crazy amounts, guys. 45% extra health and protection, and then on top of all of that, we're also getting health and protection and just flat defense, guys. Not to mention health steal. This is by far the most defensive GAC we've had, or Datacron set we've had. And so the things that I want to point out here, folks, is number one, we got to find ways to get around this. So a lot of our team comps are going to be surrounding that strategy. The other piece of it is, if you're farming Datacrons, if that's something you're interested in at all, or even if it's not, but you just want to win, if you like to party, then here's the thing. Go farm a bunch of low-level crons, get them to level 3, and just re-roll till you get to this. Doesn't matter if it's dark side or light side, just get 20 of them, guys. Get 22 of them. That's 3v3 covered for you. And that's going to set you up for success for 4 months now. This is the craziest level 3. I mean, there's been some crazy level 3s. This one is going to be pervasive and frustrating. Get in on the action, guys. That's going to be important. So, that being said, let's talk about offense teams, shall we? Let's do it. So, Alright, first, I did a lot of research this time with looking at GAC Insights on the swgoh.gg site, and the thing that I discovered is Lord Vader was most easily beat by Supreme Leader Kylo. And this particular comp was the most effective with the armor and Watt doing it. And then if you do that with a set 8, you don't have to use a set 9 because we can't. I know I said to get 22. I don't trust your ability to get 22 Datacrons that are all really good in set 9. So set 8 is the set before. It's the one we still have for 2 months. This is one of your opportunities to use set 8 to good effect. Do the one where if you start with full health and protection, you'll be able to do extra damage. I think double damage, something like that, and you'll kill Lord Vader easily, or more easily. Remember, they're not going to have all of the set 9 stuff either, and so even though a tankier Lord Vader might be really good, a lot of people are still going to keep using the dot cron for another couple months, in which case he's going to be very tanky, have a lot of dots on him, or he's going to cause a lot of dots, which gives him a lot of bonus protection, but Kylo can kind of mitigate that by doing extra damage. So just something to keep in mind. Obviously not great banners, but it also does keep your Night Sisters intact for maybe never using. They're 3v3, they're so weird, guys. Alright, we've got Jedi Master Luke here, and for offense, man, okay, so he's on offense and defense for me on this, full disclosure, guys. On offense, here's the thing, if you use Barriss with him, Barriss is going to be really tough to kill with all those extra hit points. Jolie, remember that Kron, and I don't have the time nor the crayons to explain it to you, however, Jedi Master Luke needs protection on his actual main stats for the Datacrons, not for, like, he can't use that 45% protection for damage for his lead. For whatever reason, that's not allowed. That being said, he's very survivable now, so for offense, he can do some cool stuff. I don't really trust him that much on offense, but he is doing a huge amount of damage, and protection is a pretty high rolling thing. If you can get the right cron for him, he's going to be dealing a lot of damage. And honestly, I think I could see him doing good in both offense and defense. So usually I like to put him on defense in 3s, to be honest, and I think I'll be putting him on defense some as well. Just something to keep in mind, folks. Barriss and Jolie really do flourish under him because they're just so much more survivable. You're going to be able to take more stuff out with more impunity than ever before. Now we've got Jedi Revan here. Well, this is my pretty standard team. Jedi Revan, Mace, and Luke. They're going to be more tanky. They could actually add some more offense and everything. Just keep in mind that the reason I love Mace and Luke, and that doesn't change for this set, is you can shrink your opponent's what do you think you're going to shrink? You're going to shrink their protection and their health. Remember, with Shatterpoint on Mace and Luke doing his riposte, which every time he does, or repulse, sorry, every time he does it, then everyone minuses their max health and protection by 10% every time, with the stacking up to 50, he could make a lot of opponents just kind of wither and die, and then Mace also shrinks their health and their defense, which are all things that you're really going to want. Revan makes sure that you can target the characters that you want, and of course Mace helps you with that as well. This is just a very well situated squad for the current meta, and I think it's going to be really strong. I think the only adjustments we may end up making are, we might just want to put Luke with Jedi Master Luke and Mace with Kenobi, Jedi Master Kenobi. I think that that's a possible thing we're going to want to do, just to make sure we have even more of that stuff built up on our really powerful teams. Now this Qui-Gon team, I almost got, okay, so this is for offense first off, and remember guys, this has been a stalwart on defense for me. I still have them really high, really fastly, quickly modded, and I just don't think it's got a huge amount of value right now. Everyone's got so much more survivability now that Anakin doing one huge burst damage of offense is just not going to be enough against the crazy amounts of defense that everyone's going to be carrying and the insane amount of extra health and protection. Everything that this team does well is just kind of negated by this set. And so you put it on offense, and you just probably want to fight something that you can have some kind of a sustained fight on, or you could just, we might just end up melting this squad into its component pieces. I mean, Qui-Gon with Anakin is always going to be good, and Ki-Adi-Mundi really dials that up to about 1 million, but this team is, it's just not as good in this current meta with all of the defense and health and protection. It's just unfortunately not as good. On offense, you can kind of control your fate a little bit more though, and kind of cherry pick who you're fighting. So I think on offense it's going to be a little bit better. Now, Sith Eternal Emperor is someone. He's someone, guys. He's a lot of times you're just going to use him solo, to be honest. He's good. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's going to be more tanky now, I guess. Like, he's going to have more health. Like he needed more. But you could put him on defense. You really could. And this is the comp I'd probably put him on for defense, frankly. Unless you can spare Savage. But Savage is usually going to be with Traya, helping you hunt Reva. Honestly, like, that's probably what you're going to want to do with them. But Sith Eternal Emperor on offense, on his own, he'll kill a Malgus team. The Malgus teams, I mean, that might actually be added value, because Malgus teams are going to be really way more tanky now as well. But also, Malgus teams might be killed by General Skywalker. We'll talk about that in a minute. But, like, the whole everything shifted. If General Skywalker is killing Malgus, then Sith Eternal Emperor almost could just go on defense. Honestly, like that, this might be the time. But he's also like when I was looking at the reports, he's almost a 100% to just kill Jedi Master Luke in 3s. It's ridiculous. Watch for defense, guys. I do have a secret comp that probably gives Sith Eternal Emperor some problems with Jedi Master Luke. I'll show you guys on that video. But yeah, this team is this is probably the best version when you hit Sith Eternal Emperor. Backpack Emperor, then Talent. Like, this makes it Wampa proof. It's a good-ish team, I guess. Of course, you can two-shot it fairly easily if you can find a way to get rid of Malak. Then once you do that, you can use Wampa to kill Sith Eternal Emperor. Though, well, you probably still can. Emperor, he probably, yeah, I think Wampa still does. As long as Emperor can get to his ult, that's kind of the key in that matchup. We'll talk about more about that later at some point. But, okay, Jedi Master Kenobi. I love this team on defense, but honestly, guys, with all of the crazy, just the madness of survivability, people are going to come up with some pretty broken comps. Honestly, that's just going to happen, and stuff that you're not going to see on these videos, unfortunately, because it's hard to predict. Honestly, the next round of videos will probably have, for 3v3, we'll probably have a lot more broken comps, but this is probably the best team in the game still, unless it's Jabba. And Kenobi can be used to kill Jabba. He can be used to take out a lot of other things too, because Kat is just so golden. She takes out so many things. She's awesome. This team is probably just going to be on offense for me for most of it, because yes, it's more survivable and tougher to kill, but the things that kill it are just going to kill it anyways. Like, everything's escalating, and I think that this team is probably just best on offense to be able to help you adapt and react to the things that you don't really foresee. Now, one thing I do want to point out, that Malgus, I want him on defense for the most part. I was looking at what he does on offense, and it's almost just not enough to justify. Like, he kills some okay things on offense, but not much. Honestly, it's like, you can kill Commander Luke, or you can kill a few other things, but a lot of the stuff that you fight has no degree of certainty on it. And the reason I was hoping he would be good on offense is because he does true damage, which gets rid of it ignores offense, or it ignores their defense, I should say. And then he also has the extra health and protection, making this an extremely tanky squad, though Darth Revan kind of undermines that a little bit with his whatever it's called, ferocity, or whatever that buff or debuff is. That being said, this team is very strong on offense. It's just not killing anything like insane. you probably want to be killing really good stuff, or you want to be drawing a Galactic Legend with it, because it's going to be very difficult to beat. Now that it's super tanky, you're probably going to want to use a Galactic Legend, or potentially people are going to use General Skywalker. That's the biggest question mark to me, is how does Skywalker interact with Malgus in this context, because Skywalker, of course, he wants as much protection as he can. Lots and lots of protection. The health is actually a little bit of a detriment to him, at least in 5s, because CLS will beat him, but with all the exposed attacks. But you want as much defense as you can, you want as much protection as you can, and that's what you're getting in this set, guys. I mean, that's all he's doing. All the protection and all the defense that we can, and then of course some potency, and this isn't a modding video exactly, but the idea is you want him to be able to survive as much as you can. And with this new set, with 45% extra health and protection, I mean, the health doesn't really matter until he's alone, but with that extra protection and then all the defense you can find from different crons, this team is going to be extremely resilient. Not to mention 5s and Rex are going to be tougher to kill as well. And so you put them on offense, and right now killing Malgus has been a little bit tricky. You might want some crit chance on General Skywalker, actually. Malgus might want to stack a little bit of crit avoidance, honestly, if you can, because General Skywalker is then going to have his ability to be able to reduce their max health. It is just going to be so nice, guys. Let's see. Where's the thing that it says? Hold on a sec. I'll be right back. Ah, there it is. Okay, so it's his first unique, the Chosen One. He's the Chosen One. I thought Luke was the Chosen One. That's what Obi-Wan Kenobi said later in Rebels. But let's see, if the target enemy has no protection when he uses an ability, reduce their max health by 20% for the rest of the battle, which is just going to be really nice for this current set, because everyone has a ton of health, and you're going to need things like that to bypass it. And so General Skywalker, I think this team has some legs still. We'll see how it goes. I think on offense, though, what I'm circling is I want to see how Skywalker does against Malgus. He's more survivable, everyone's more survivable, but I think he still has a similar amount of hitting power on Malgus, in which case maybe you start taking Malgus for offense, which is why I showed you Malgus on offense here in this context, because Skywalker might really just make it so that Malgus has to be on offense for a little bit. I don't foresee Malgus staying on offense long term, but for the next 4 months, maybe. Very much maybe. Okay, Luke is taking a little bit of a nosedive in terms of how powerful he is. Chupio is good. It's still a good squad. Not nearly as overpowered as when they had the Chupio Cron, of course, which is fine. But just keep in mind, like, this team is still going to do well. And the real power of this, folks, is, okay, so remember, everyone is going to have a lot of extra health and protection. The extra health kind of dams them just a little bit, though, because all of your exposed damage is based on their max health. And so even though they have more protection, you're still doing probably a net gain in total damage for the squad, and you're still getting a ton of turn meter and stuff. Like, you're still going to beat a lot of teams with this. I'd be interested to see how it does against General Skywalker. I know it was doing okay last time, but remember, you're going to be hitting General Skywalker, and all you have to do is get his protection down. Like, his health is almost irrelevant, except for calculating how much damage your exposed damage does, in which case the CLS team is going to flourish because of all the exposed damage, like I keep saying. So, really good stuff there. Now, on offense, I do think that having Reva and Grand Inquisitor on offense, maybe you just, like, put them on defense sometimes, just to keep people guessing, keep them from putting their Traya on defense all the time. But this squad is pretty good in terms of, like, it does a lot of damage, and then it has ways to get rid of defense in the sense that, like Grand Inquisitor, they have a lot of control. They also have with Reva and her lead Omicron, you're going to be able to cause death mark on people, which is going to help with damage issues. And Grand Inquisitor, of course, then also has torture, which reduces people's max defense by what, 50%, something like that, making it a lot more approachable. So you have a lot of control here. You know, good squad. Kills a lot of stuff. Probably doesn't kill many Galactic Legends in 3v3, but it kills most other things. So just I don't know. You can flip flop it. I have it on offense here. I didn't put it on defense in the defense video, but just something to keep in mind that you could put it on defense. Just sometimes if your opponent scouts, if you know your opponent is scouting, you can put this team on defense some. And then they just keep Treya for offense, or whatever team they use to kill Riva, and then that's kind of a wasted opportunity for them, because Treya on defense is just so nice, so awesome. Alright, so I think I have this for offense and defense, actually both of these teams, Radis and Kira Hondo. So one of the major drawbacks of Hondo, now that he doesn't have his really awesome Datacron, which is, I mean, that's over 2 months old news at this point, but Hondo has stayed really good on in 3v3 because he can control, like he can just shut down 1/3 of your opponent's forces, and then he starts doing some crazy damage, and his ramping damage is actually very well suited for this kind of fight. Not to mention, he becomes much more difficult to kill. His tankiness becomes crazy, so offense or defense, Hondo is going to be, I think is going to get a lot of run in this 3v3 season because of how much impact everything he does. Like, his kit was kind of built to be like more, he wants to be tanky, because his damage will get to the point where you just start destroying people. Like, I wouldn't be too surprised to find out that Hondo is starting to kill certain Galactic Legends and stuff at some point, because he can ramp his damage so much that the Galactic Legends won't necessarily keep up with it. I mean, maybe they will. I'm not for sure. I think that he is going to actually put a pretty big dent in certain teams this season, and very excited to see how he does on offense and defense. Though I think offense is also offense is more fun because you actually get to play it. Radis. Who knows, guys? On offense or defense, honestly, it probably is a slightly better defensive team just because everyone's way tankier and tougher to kill. That being said, it's a handy squad to have on offense. And all of the exposed damage, like we've talked about before, everyone's going to have way higher max health, which is going to make your exposed damage hit significantly harder. So when people are doing their crits on you, or whatever their damage, then you're going to be able to do your AoEs and really capitalize on those exposes. So both offense and defense really strong. So in this current meta, I just don't see a huge amount of value in Fennec. Like, Fennec is great, but maybe you just put her with, instead, like, swap her out for Mando sometimes in certain circumstances. But I do think that in general, you're just going to want your all-star team here with Bosk. Maybe sometimes you put Fennec here as well, because then Mando can call Fennec to hit people, punch them in the nuts, just to make or get your contract with Bosk. Like, Bosk does really like Fennec, but this is kind of my all-star team. This is like what I would call the essential bounty hunter trio, and they can take down so many teams, guys, as long as you can find a way to get your contract. I mean, that can be problematic depending on what kind of taunts people have, or stealth, or whatever. So yeah, you gotta be cautious, but this team is... it's been my favorite bounty hunter team in 3s for a long time. I haven't used it like that for a long time either, but this team does a lot of good. And remember, in the day and age of not being able to hurt anyone, Mando is just going to disintegrate them. He doesn't care. Mando's unapologetic. He's disrespectful. He's just going to WTF pwn them, and it's going to be awesome. Troopers have lost a little value this season, guys, because Dark Trooper just does straight up damage. he does a crazy amount of damage, but he's not going to be able to do, it's just not going to be able to cover as much. People are going to be putting these crazy tanky teams down, and maybe this team is going to get a lot of run. I'm not convinced that troopers are going to be that powerful this season. I guess we'll see. I mean, if you're facing someone who doesn't have datacrons or doesn't have a lot of the 15%, you can really take advantage. This team obviously just is still really powerful, but it's not as powerful. It's more of a, I mean, it's always been a toolbox team. Like, you can't just say, oh yeah, it'll for sure kill one of my opponent's squads or whatever. But you know, you always want it available for offense. It's no good on defense, really. There's so many teams that'll beat it. Here's one of the speculative teams that I think might end up being pretty good. We have Vader with Zalbar on mission. You probably want one of Zalbar's or missions. Crons, if you can, level 9s. Zalbar just becomes this crazy tank with his level 9. Mission gives everyone turn meter. It seems like a pretty decent squad. It's a team that I've liked on offense for a long time, and honestly, you could maybe put it on defense as well. If you make Vader super tanky, like that's always been his weakness. He's just not super thick, but with the additional extra offense or health and protection, as well as defense from the stats, this team could be good on defense. On offense, I'm excited. Like, you can do a cool Vader Strangle kind of team where they're all adding dots and the dots don't go away, and slowly over time, that's another thing. It's a % health damage, so over time, who cares if they have a million billion hit points, because those damage over times are just going to slowly chew through them. And if you can survive long enough, which Zalbar is going to be a really strong tank here, just crazy tanky with his Kron. It's looking up. It looks decent. I guess we'll see. We'll see. It's old school. Vader Strangle was a team I used to run way back in the day. A lot of fun. We're bringing it back. Padme again. So the Gidme team. This team does damage based off of courage, which is % health, which means you want this. Everyone's gonna have extra health and protection, and Gidme, it's this team's turn to shine, guys. It does a lot of extra damage based off of all of the Krons that are going to be out there. This team is going to be awesome because those Krons don't give extra speed or anything. Remember, you need faster Moff Gideon. Go search for Gidme, guys. My Gidme like guide on how to use it. It's really strong. You don't necessarily need R2-D2 specifically, you just need a support that's Galactic Republic. You could use Cup if you really wanted to, though I like R2-D2 because he can use his fire attack and that doesn't miss. So there's a lot of circumstances you're like, man, they have foresight, I can't use this comp, and you realize that R2-D2 doesn't care about foresight. He has the foresight to not have to care about foresight. Okay, so Dash with Vandor and then Young Han. Their stock is down this time, guys, because they're straight damage. Again, Dash and Vandor, crazy damage. They do a lot of damage. Young Han ramps to a lot of damage, and the ramping is actually fairly useful. I need to get Young Han up to like relic 7 or 8, just so he starts at a high damage and just keeps increasing it. But this team will kill, you know, Jedi Master Luke, or at least it used to. I don't know if it does anymore. Honestly, like, that team is maybe going to just be too thick, so we'll have to see. They're still going to take out a lot of teams just because it's so sustainable. You're just not going to die as often. Unfortunately, we don't have access to any tenacity Krons right now, which is a thing that I really like for this team if you're facing Jedi Master Luke, because they'll do so many AoEs that put ability block on you for 2 turns. It's nice to just ignore that sometimes. Now, Bando, if he's not going with a Fennec team, which maybe we'll want a Fennec team, who knows, at some point, but if he's not going with Fennec, he can hang out with Chewie and Han. This is no problem. This is probably my favorite Han and Chewie babysitter, but you don't need to. They're not necessarily married. You can do it, though. It's kind of fun. Wampa womps things right in the face. So the set 8 thing with Palp and Mara and Starkiller, in theory, I really like the Mara Jade Kron still a lot for Ufus and all that stuff, but there's no denying that when Rey does her whirlwind, if she does it twice in a row, she just kills Palpatine, which sometimes helps you, because then Ben can't revive. But sometimes it's like, man, it would be nice if you would survive more than one whirlwind. palpy. Like, you're the emperor of the whole freaking galaxy, dude. Like, you think you can't... You think you'd be able to survive one upstart throwing her lightsaber at you. She's like, whirlwind! And you're like, are we like Pokemon now? Like, we're yelling out our abilities out loud? But yeah, she's... I think this is another opportunity to use set 8, guys. Alright? Because we need to use some teams with set 8. Treya... This team does great on defense. Wonderful team on defense. Love it on defense. However, on offense, it also stomps the hell out of a lot of teams. Like, you don't want Scion. Scion's just kind of on the bench. In 5s or 3s, you're using way less of your roster, and so you're going to get rid of Scion and put Savage here with the Omicron, and then you go kill Riva, is basically the idea. And if they don't have Riva, then you just go... stomp a hole through a lot of other teams. Remember, with with the same thing, it's the same thing as Mando, like the OG Mando doing Disintegrate. Nihilus doesn't care how much health and protection you have. In fact, I think he benefits from you having more health. So, yeah, this set is going to make them a lot more tanky as well. Be interesting to see how much higher they can punch up, given their higher base health and protection. So I'm just kind of tired of Trench and what his shenanigans are. Like, you can kind of combine Trench. I think you can do Trench, Django, and like Newt maybe, and you're able to like finish off one of the Galactic Legends or something. Maybe Jabba. Yeah, I think you can finish off a lone Jabba with them, which is probably the best use. But I mean, we could also just do a GL Newt team on offense, because on defense it's been solved at this point. You can just use Mon Mothma to kill this team. But this is my favorite Trench. When I was researching it, I spent a lot more time than I probably should have putting Trench with various team members, and I was like, I really wanted Trench to work with Grievous, but he just doesn't work well with him for whatever reason. They're both like spider creatures that are separatists, and I guess they just don't like each other that much. But yeah, Trench with Brood Alpha and Count Dooku is probably the best. If you put it on defense, Wampa will just rip its face off, so don't do that. Boba with IG and Queel, really good for finishing off one of those Dot, Kron, Lord Vader teams. Otherwise, I mean, there's some decent synergy because Boba is applying damage over times, IG is shoving damage over times to his opponents, Queel is boosting the damage for Boba Fett. It's all good. Now, Night Sisters, I have no idea, guys. The one that it seemed like it had most consistent output for Night Sisters was with Asajj Omicron, Marin with her Omicron, and Daka. I have no idea. I don't know what to do on offense without Talzin. Frankly, it just seems scary to me. So we'll have to see. I don't even know what it's gonna kill. It's gonna kill stuff. Come watch me on Twitch. It'll be fun. Let's see. Mon Mothma with Kyle and Biston. They're not going anywhere, guys. I made the decision not to put the Omicron on Saw Gerrera. Otherwise, we would maybe be trying Kyle Katarn with Saw Gerrera. But otherwise, yeah, this team... It is what it is, guys. It's not great. Maybe one day, maybe this will be the GAC where I actually remod Biston into having something resembling respectable mods, but it's probably not going to happen ever. Probably going to have to wait till there's been like 50 GACs. This is like in the low 40s still. So, Hux, if Kylo is just hanging out, Supreme Leader Kylo is just hanging out with the two babysitters, Watt and Armor, then we can have Hux and Red Trooper hanging out with First Order TIE Pilot. It's a good time, guys. It's a good team on offense. You can kill some Starkiller teams depending on how fast you've modded them, how much damage. Like, you can do some good work with this team. First Order TIE Pilot makes this team crazy fast, even if you have your Hux modded like crap the way I do. Now, usually, guys, you know I like to put Shock T with Echo and Tech and put them on defense. However, remember, we need to be doing percent health damage. We need to be doing just true damage, and the Bad Batch team just has all of that. All of that. They're going to be overtaxed this season. I expect to use them on offense all the damn time. They're all Relic 6 because why not be ominous? Basti, so remember, Basti on offense is going to be have more power because everyone's going to have higher max health. Well, I don't know if her ability is going to grab from that or not, actually, but one way or another, if everyone's going to have more max health and protection regardless, and if she does pull from the new max health, then everyone's gonna just be more tanky. I like this team. It has all three of them have a way to dispel. All of them have a way to do offense up even. I don't know if Ahsoka, if Snips does, but they all have a lot of really cool utility and a lot of decent damage. So cool stuff. And then if you happen to have Tarful, you can just use them with some Wookiees, I guess. I don't know. This is like a... Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to clear. I guess we'll throw Tarful at them, is basically what that is. So, alright guys, this video went longer than I hoped. Let's hope the defense video, is shorter. Guys, go click on it. It should be below me at this point. You can click on the link, or you can go to the video description and click on the defensive teams video. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.